I'm so freaking annoyed. I just spent like I just spent like
pissed.
I just spent like 10 minutes of my life trying to explain to you my life and our situation, and it wasn't even freaking recording. You know how hard it is to talk in front of a camera? It's not easy and all of that. I'm so annoyed. I am on my sofa, sad. So, remember how I recorded the first time I didn't record, and so I was in my bed like, of course this happened to me. Well, hey, guess what? It happened to me a second time. So that's fun. So now we're gonna go to the store, have a look at some cameras, and I'll let you know what happens if this camera doesn't die out on me. Well, we just got a camera, which is exciting, but that also means commitment. It is now 12:03 and the day has come and gone. But I thought I would try one more time to explain why we're going to Australia. It's a really complicated story that I'm going to try to just quickly summarize as best as possible. But if you aren't really someone who's going through the government process in any country, it might be really hard for you to understand and comprehend what I'm about to say. But just know it is very complicated when you marry someone outside of your country. And I guess I should say when you marry someone that is not a citizen of your country. Okay, so first order of business. If you already don't know, let me get a photo. But my husband is Australian. And funny story about how we met, but he is not a citizen of this country. He's a citizen of Australia. And we actually met in 2017. It was December 2017 at a wedding. My cousin's wedding, actually. And my cousin got his bachelor's in Australia, and that's how he met Sean. So many, many years later, when my cousin got married, Sean flew to the wedding, and that's where I actually met him for the first time. It's really hard to think about how I can share this story really fast. So when Sean came into the country in 2020, so last year sometime, he came in on a partner visa, and on the partner visa that he was on, because there's many, so don't quote me on this, but he is only allowed to be in the country for 6 months at a time, and then he has to leave the country and then enter again to essentially restart the 6 months. Somewhere along the line, we discovered that if you're on that visa, you're not allowed to go to Canada or to Mexico because they border the US. So in October, Sean and I actually went to Costa Rica because at the time it was just the easiest country to quickly go in and out of for the weekend, just to get his visa started all over again. So yeah, we did that, and on our way back in, when we were going through customs, the immigration workers, they were asking us a ton of questions, and hey, if you know me, I will be ready and prepared. I had all documentation that we needed to prove like all this stuff, and of course we had to prove that Sean wasn't planning to stay in the country for, like, he was just here visiting, blah 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 blah. The government makes it a challenge, and it's really frustrating because governments act like people from different countries aren't going to marry each other, and they also act like surprised when someone of one country is trying to enter their country because they've married someone from that country. It's just really, really frustrating, because to me it's like, okay, hello Australia, hello America. I mean, either I go to Australia or Sean goes to America, but somebody's gotta let us in. So that definitely is just super, super annoying, because they complicate everything. So all that to say that when we landed back into Houston from Costa Rica, the worker there was like giving us such a hard time, and I was trying to not be nervous. Anyways, then he like shouted something really loud, and then they took Sean away, and Sean was probably detained for not an hour, but a little bit under an hour. And they just told me like, go downstairs and wait for him. So I was just downstairs waiting at baggage claim, and crying, and I was like, great, they're gonna send Sean away. This is hard, like nothing is ever easy. And I get going into obviously a relationship with him, we both knew it was not going to be easy. But of course, you never really know what you're getting yourself into until you're like deep in it. And so I was just really upset and sad and freaking out and panicking. And then finally Sean came down and he was like, I got it, I'm approved. And then he was briefly telling me like everything that happened to him while he was being interrogated. And if you know Sean, he is like so sassy and smart, and it's definitely like part of his culture, the way he speaks and carries himself. And so while he was telling me all these things, I was just like freaking out, thinking, well, why did you tell the immigration people this stuff? Like, they have a file on you. Great, that's gonna be in there. So anyways, they were gonna only give Sean 30 days to get his stuff together and leave the country. And this was in October of 2021, so not that long ago. But Sean charmed his way to 6 months. So they changed it to 6 months. They're like, fine, after 6 months, whatever. So they allowed him to re-enter the country. But of course, under that visa, it's obviously a visa for visiting purposes only, and you cannot have any kind of intention to stay. He's on that visa for the second time, obviously, and it's nearing its end soon, again in about 2.5 months. But the whole process that we've been on since he officially moved here, we filed all the paperwork and stuff, but it's kind of like a list that you have to do, like ABC, before you can even apply to get the green card. And all these things are just like on hold. They're taking a really long time, or we've been denied and you have to reapply. And it's just been really hard. It's just a lot of stress that weighs down on us. And again, with the whole visa coming to an end again, and we're still not at a point where we can apply for the green card, we just had to make the decision to go ahead and leave. And we made this decision about a week before Christmas. And so we made the decision to leave Australia in a few weeks, obviously, but we're leaving February 8th. And the reason why we're leaving not so soon, because Sean technically does have the visa doesn't end till April, so he's got like another month and a half. But obviously we're leaving in February because I am in grad school, and I've been studying online remotely through a university in Australia for the pandemic. And so I start classes on the 21st. I'm looking at my planner. I start classes on the 21st, and my birthday is 3 days later, so I'll definitely be celebrating my birthday in Australia. But yeah, so that's kind of why we just decided to leave. Yeah, so we're both able to work in Australia. I'm able to finish my degree. We can settle down, and again, the whole us being able to both work really, really helps, because this whole time Sean hasn't been able to work. So he's just been trying to fill his time with other hobbies and activities, which he's done really good, and he's definitely enjoyed his time here. But we're definitely both excited to just head back to Australia, because I mean, there's a lot that we miss. I know Sean misses, you know, his parents are in Australia, all his friends, the beach. Sean loves the beach, but it's definitely going to be a good change, and I'm excited to go back. We're going to make the most out of it, and while we're there, we'll definitely be able to apply for Sean's green card. the plan is to just move to Australia, live, enjoy life there, and whenever the time comes for us to move back to America, then we'll definitely be ready with the paperwork. But yeah, so that's kind of the story on why we've decided to move back to Sydney. We're really excited, and I gotta say, I gotta stop saying I'm really excited. I've said it a million times. But yes, sad and excited to go, and I hope you guys follow along. We're really gonna make the most of this, and I promise only the best stuff on here, no crying.